Hello, everybody. Russian Batman back with another random rant episode, and today we will be discussing Marvel because why not? I thought we need to talk about it and kind of where Marvel is currently in the MCU, not Marvel comics because I don't keep up with comics because I don't read because I'm not a damn nerd. No, I'm just kidding. I'm joking. But I don't like to read stuff. But that's a separate topic. All right, but let's talk about Marvel. And is Marvel on the decline? It's the major question everyone's been asking. And everything seems up and down. You had the whole the effect, the special effects artist thing, and then immediately after had Comic Cons. So it was like a down and an up. And then you had there's other things. You had Spider-Man No Way Home, and then you had the rest of Phase 4. So yeah, kind of ups and downs. So, and I think where people, especially where people are feeling this kind of, I would say like Marvel fatigue has existed for a while. A lot of people, it's like the famous quote from Martin Scorsese. And a lot of people for a long time, even before like the end of the Infinity Saga, have been feeling Marvel fatigue with every Marvel film. And me to a degree, I think I have kind of too. I feel like after I saw like Ant-Man and the Wasp, that movie kind of made me realize, wow, I I just watched another Marvel movie. Like, it made me realize that like, wow, this movie, it wasn't like, here's the thing, that movie wasn't bad at all. It was just so like painfully average to me where when I got out of the theater I was like, wow, I see what people are talking about when they say every Marvel movie's the same. So, I think that's the movie that kind of got me with the initial kind of fatigue of Marvel. Not the fatigue I think a lot of people are feeling now, and I especially feel now, especially with all the Disney Plus shows. With so many shows coming out so quickly, it is. I think that's the major thing that is kind of might not be like the downfall, but that might be the thing that gets people to just stop watching. I feel the Disney shows might be maybe one of the worst things that they could have done to Marvel. I mean, there are so many shows where I keep on watching them, and then I get to a point where I just don't want to watch them. Like I've been watching all of the Marvel shows, and then as soon as like Miss Marvel comes out, I went to a point where I'm like, I don't want to watch this anymore. Like I don't want to watch another Marvel show because they're all just exactly the same. Where it's all like they only have like 6 episodes or whatever, and they weekly, and then they just tease a costume at the end, and it's so like it's bland now. I think the shows are, a lot of people might argue it's the movies that are killing kind of the reputation of Marvel, the grand reputation Marvel used to have. But I personally think it might be the shows because there are gems in there. Like I said, I really enjoy Moon Knight, and I really enjoyed Loki. I know not a lot of people actually liked Loki. There's actually, I didn't realize there's a surprisingly big amount of hate for Loki. I really like Loki. Sorry, I need some water. But I thought Loki was good. It brought some new ideas, had a killer soundtrack and whatnot. But yeah, and a lot of people when they talk about Marvel, they say a lack of focus and a lack of like purpose and where it's going, especially Phase 4, because this really confused me when they announced that Black Panther would be the end of Phase 4, which just kind of baffled me because I thought before this every single phase ended in a major Avengers movie or something, right? Am I wrong on saying that? Like, I'm pretty sure Phase 1 didn't that end with the first Avengers? Didn't Phase 2 end with Avengers Age of Ultron? And didn't Phase 3 end with Endgame and Infinity War? Like, I'm pretty sure, like, unless I'm, like, misremembering stuff, every phase ended with some major movie. And you have this phase just kind of, it builds up to Black Panther? Like, nothing was building up to that. Like, I feel like every movie in Phase 1 was building up to the Avengers, right? With, introducing these other characters and what was like Nick Fury's like big week or something. And then like Phase 2 kind of, I don't remember for sure what exactly happened in Phase 2, but I'm pretty sure that's also kind of building up characters and whatnot for the next Avengers. And then, like I said, with phase 3, starting to lay down the pieces for Infinity War and Endgame. So it's every phase kind of builds up to that. With this phase, I don't know, like the most you can say this phase is building up to is like Thunderbolts. Like I feel like every single like connected end credit or tease scene has just been Thunderbolts. Like that lady with the purple hair who goes up to people and says, "Hey, want to join my evil crew," or whatever, And I guess there's the multiverse stuff, like, but that doesn't seem to be pointing in a specific direction, except for like Loki, because Loki clearly, like, the after effects of Loki is going to lead to what Kang Dynasty or whatever, and Avengers. Secret War. So I guess that's kind of leading there, but there's nothing else really, like, except maybe the end credit scene of Shang-Chi, but I that could just be Shang-Chi 2. Like I don't know. Like I said, there's not a major focus point, and I feel like the exact point where people kind of got like major Marvel fatigue, or the exact like movie that kind of did it for a lot of people, is Thor Love and Thunder. Because for a lot of people, I think people were holding out for Thor Love and Thunder. Like that was supposed to be kind of like the make it or break it for Marvel, because up till now, we had Black Widow. No one was really hoping. I mean, I guess some people were hoping Black Widow was. I mean, everyone should hope a movie is good, but no one had high expectations for, Black Widow and some of these other movies, right? Because I mean, I guess people had high expectations for Black Widow, but Black Widow didn't end up being good. But then you have, what else came? Eternals. No one cared about Eternals. Actually, a good amount of people cared about Shang-Chi. I was surprised. I wasn't the biggest fan of it, but I'm glad a lot of people like it. But you have like other movies in this phase. I'm trying to think. Except for Spider-Man. Everyone loves Spider-Man. But except for that, everything else has either like been bad, meh, or all right. That's what I'm thinking so far in the phase. So I feel like, and with Thor, like established character where it's directed by Taika Waititi, who made Thor Ragnarok, which was really well acclaimed and whatnot. So I feel like a lot of people were like, okay, if this movie isn't good, then then what else is? Because it's supposed to be the high point of Marvel. Great director, great ideas too. It's supposed to be fun. It's new fun Thor movie with the Guardians of the Galaxy, with these major characters. So I feel like when that movie came out and it was just so meh, like for a lot of people, that's when kind of Marvel fatigue really set in. Of course, you could also point to what's the movie? Doctor Strange as one as well. But I don't think it really set in until Thor Love and Thunder. Because with Doctor Strange, people were, when people saw it and it wasn't that great, even despite the fact it had a major director connected. This is kind of a theme. Had a major director attached to it, and it came out and it was a little bit meh for some people. And then at that point, they're like, okay, this was meh, but they're not going to make the same mistake again and make a high budget movie with a great director be not that great. But then I think when Thor Love and Thunder came out, that kind of cemented the fact to a lot of people, where after that movie they're like, okay, now that they did it twice, it's not just a one-time fluke with Doctor Strange. This is a reoccurring thing with Marvel, and I think that's what people got a lot of people to not enjoy Marvel as much as they do today. So I need some more water. But yeah, I think that, like I said, Thor Love and Thunder was kind of like the downfall for, or maybe in the future when Marvel is not popular anymore, that might be it. And we might in real time might be seeing the actual death of Marvel. I can't say for sure, but you think about with a lot of oversaturated movie genres in the past, like westerns and whatnot, that just kind of every major movie genre just dies out. So maybe this could be it. Marvel could be, could inadvertently be killing the superhero genre. We don't know. We don't know for sure, but maybe. Like I said, they do have stuff planned in the future, but who knows how successful they'll be? Because I think I think Thor: Love and Thunder was successful. Like it made money, but it didn't make as much money as they were expecting. So who knows? We'll see in the future. And I think, well, here's the major question: is does Marvel actually have a chance not to die out? Because a lot of people think, me included, kind of think that this might be the downfall of Marvel. Marvel is probably on the decline, but the question is, like I said, can they bounce back from it? And I honestly don't know. I mean, I think there would have to be some pretty major changes there. If they keep on releasing just Marvel quote unquote films, that are the same, eventually, like I said, people just aren't gonna like it. And I think these more recent movies have been showing that, because with especially this phase, which has been very lackluster, it feels like they think that they could just kind of release more and more, and like, oh, audience will love it because it's Marvel. But I think we're really seeing it now that it's not the case, that that audiences won't just take anything just because it's Marvel. But yeah, that's my thoughts on it. Like I said, will it? I think for Marvel to survive, I don't know what they would have to do. I think there would have to be some significant changes besides just I like I said, I think they just kind of make it. This is where I think DC has a leg over Marvel, where Marvel is so strict to its to being a Marvel movie, right? Where you don't get much variation on that. Where DC, you can kind of get whatever movie, it just uses the DC IP, if that makes sense, because with Marvel, everything's. This is the problem. I think having Kevin Feige, right, in a main kind of lead, who decides what happens in Marvel, it's great for the cinematic universe, right? And it's great for, I think, and it really worked out for the first few phases. But I feel like now, with having that vision, it really kind of hurts just the movie experience. It might make a cool or maybe interesting overarching story, but when you look at some of the movies individually, they're not that great. And it might, like I said, I don't think if something doesn't change, it'll probably just continue being just another Marvel movie until you get the major Avengers event, which who knows if that'll be good. I think and like I said, I think, like, I'm just trying to think what will be the make it or break it for Marvel, because I think for this phase, like I said, it was Thor was the make it or break it, and I think the make it or break it of next phase, I think it all kind of depends on if Guardians is good. Like, if Guardians ends up being bad, then I don't know if I'll be able to watch another Marvel movie. I'm being completely honest with you. That's, like I said, that's another kind of movie where it has a really good director attached, but if Marvel can bog down the director, then maybe like I said, maybe there's not really any hope for Marvel. We'll see. Like I said, it's similar, because like I said, it happened with Doctor Strange, where it was a great director attached to it, but the movie kind of ended up being watered down for Marvel. And same thing with the Thor: Love and Thunder. It was a great director was attached to it, but the movie just kind of ended up being meh. Like, that could also be Taika Waititi's fault, because I know a lot of people are bringing Taika. I don't know if it's his fault that the movie was meh, or if it was Marvel's fault. Maybe Marvel actually wanted the movie to be way more jokey than it should have been, and so that's why Taika put it in there. Or maybe Taika Waititi just didn't really care about the movie and just threw in way too many jokes, because that's the major problem with the movie. I don't know for sure. I don't know if we'll find out, but yeah. So those are my thoughts on the new Marvel phase. Like I said, they could really change my mind with these new movies coming out. I think, what's the next movie? Black Panther. That could be good. I don't know. And like I said, I don't even know if I'm gonna see in theaters, because I'm getting to a point where I just don't know if I want to see these movies in theaters anymore. Like, maybe I just might skip it and wait to streaming, because that's what I'm doing with these shows. I'm like I said, I skipped Miss Marvel, and this isn't a Marvel show, but the Obi-Wan Kenobi, I skipped that after the first 2 episodes, because I don't know, I'm just not interested in these shows that are just kind of there. Because here's the thing, it feels like I'm watching all these things out of obligation. Like, I'm not watching them because I see them like this is a genuinely interesting thing. I'm watching this because, like, okay, this has an IP I sort of like, so I might as well watch it to see, because I have to see what the overarching story is going to be. I have to see that end credit scene. I have to see, who's teased for what. So I have to, watch all these movies, and it's tiring, and it's tiring for a lot of people. So I wonder. Also, give me your thoughts in the comments. Do you guys think that Marvel is kind of on the decline? Do you disagree with me? Do you think the new Marvel films are fresh and fresh and refresh? I don't. No one's gonna say they're refreshing, dude. There's not a single person on this earth who's gonna say these new Marvel movies are refreshing. They're very, very not that great. Except there are gems in there. Not to say that there isn't anything good. Like I said, I really loved that fourth episode of Moon Knight. There are some really good ideas in here. I just think Marvel, they just need to stop rushing stuff. That's the major thing. Is they need to pause for a second and just release like 3 movies a year. Like that model, I think is too rushed. I think they need to stop and maybe at most release 2 movies a year. 2 movies and a show. A thought out show, and that's it. And that's all they release until the next year. I think that's at the most they should do. I don't think they should be doing a bajillion Marvel shows and 3 movies a year. That is way too much. And yeah, we'll see if they improve. Because initially I was really excited for the idea of Marvel shows, but now with these Marvel Disney Plus shows, yeah, I'm not excited for the next one. I don't even know what the next one is. I do like the animated stuff. I was actually a big fan of What If, and Marvel Zombies looks cool. And also, what's with that Spider-Man show? It was supposed to be canon, but now it's not canon. And what? That confused me. Why make an MCU Marvel show and say they said that was all advertising. It was supposed to be the origin story of Tom Holland's Spider-Man, because we didn't get that in the movies. Right? We still don't know how he got bit by the spider. We just oh yeah, he did because he's Spider-Man. But so the show was going to explain it, but now the show is not canon, which is confusing. They could have easily made it canon, and just because it's a little bit frustrating that it's just oh yeah, we're gonna make this show about MCU Spider-Man, but instead of it being canon, it's not canon. It's just then at that point, why not just make your own Spider-Man show? I guess that's what it is, but the whole advertising was it was supposed to be the MCU Spider-Man, freshman year, before the whole being discovered by Tony thing. But I guess it is what it is, and the show, I'm still gonna watch it. But yeah, if you guys like the video, leave a like. Like I said, just give me your thoughts on what you think of the new Marvel stuff, and y'all have a nice rest of the day. And you know what is a good movie that is not tired and boring? The 2011 film Rango. You should go watch that and have a wonderful day. And yeah, see you later. Ciao. Bye.